Hello, welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's my favorite segment of the show, and
don't say it.
Is because newspaper analyst for today is Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, someone I really admire in the profession. Thank you very much, and good morning to you, Mr. Amaechi.
Thank you, Benga. My pleasure.
I'm very proud of you for not telling lies like you like to do during
this
the
segment. This is
segment.
a new week.
Do you not used to tell lies during the segment?
No, let me confess.
Report yourself.
So this is what I did last week, and I do this because I appreciate this segment, and I appreciate the great work and time you take out to analyze the news for us. You could be doing many other things. So when we have a newspaper analyst, I always tell them that you are the best, or you're my favorite. But I have the agency to change my mind the next day. You might be my favorite today. It doesn't mean I'm telling lies. For today or this moment, you are my favorite. So let's get on with it. We'll start with the front page of the Punch newspaper.
Okay, punch us with the punch.
Yeah, the federal government, the Punch newspaper, the screaming headline there is federal government may seek Ekpa's repatriation after Finland 6-year jail term.
Back to back. Government will take further action after judgment review, AGF says, and ruling warning to extremists, Information Minister says. All right, still on the front page.
Of the Punch newspaper, we have 600 million naira monthly diaspora remittances, proof of reform, says the federal government. Look, if these guys are sending $600 million in a month, I think it's only fair that they're allowed to vote in the 2027 elections. But it's something INEC is looking at, diaspora voting. Dangote fuel exports surge amid foreign refinery shutdown. So it's good business for Dangote, and we're also saving foreign exchange as a country. And it's good to see that, you know, refineries can actually work. There's no spiritual thing to it if it's in the right hands. 2027, PDP obedience tackle Wike. PDP and obedience tackle Wike over Jonathan and Obi. I believe it's with regards to what we just concluded. Speculations of former President Jonathan concluding, and also speculations of the PDP welcoming back Mr. Peter Obi to their fold. The FCT minister says it will be political suicide for them as a party. Nigerian embassies hit by unpaid rent and salary arrears. We also haven't appointed ambassadors. This is quite embarrassing, and the president has been the chief diplomat for Nigeria, going on tours worldwide. But people are saying, look, it's about time you fix this. It's not about tour. But let's hear from, strike threat. Resident doctors give federal government 10-day ultimatum. 60-year-old man arrested for raping Lagos lady. Terrible news. I mean, at that age, you should be engaged in more productive things. Oyetola blames wooden boats as accident claims 92 lives. And I wonder why that news is just stuck in that corner there, because that's a very terrible one. Oyetola is a minister of the blue economy. So over to you, Mr. Amaechi. Let's start with the federal government may seek Ekpa's reparation after Finland's 6-year jail term.
Okay, before you speak about the repatriation of Simon Ekpa and his 6-year jail term, just to mention to our audience that we also want to hear from you. We want to hear what your thoughts are regarding any of the stories that we're going to be looking at this morning. So if you'd like to call in to share your thoughts, the numbers to call will be on the TV screen. Please call and let's have a conversation. Over to you, Mr. Amaechi.
Well, when the news broke yesterday that after 10 months of trial, the self-proclaimed Prime Minister of Biafra, Simon Ekpa, had been...
Biafra government in exile.
Biafra government in exile had been convicted and jailed for 6 years by a Finnish court. That was yesterday. Of course, if you remember, the guy was arrested, I think, November 2022. 4, and just within a space of 10 months, the legal process had been completed, and he has been served his deserved comeuppance, as it were. I don't know what the government is jumping up and down talking about repatriation. It is too early in the day to talk about repatriation. There's a possibility that Simon
will appeal.
If that happens, nobody knows how long the appeal process will take and whether it will get to the ultimate court in Finland. I think there's also, I don't know whether the federal government also has a repatriation treaty with Finland. That I have not to find out. Again, Simon Ekpa is also a Finnish citizen. It remains to be seen whether when federal government applies for his repatriation, whether that application will be honored. But that's beside the point. Look, Simon Ekpa's conviction yesterday gladdened a lot of hearts in Nigeria. And why is that so? This is a guy whose incendiary social media outings helped to fuel the killings and the violence in the Southeast. You can't be in Finland, far away from Nigeria, far away from Southeast, and you are inciting violence. You're telling people not to go to work. You're telling people to go and kill. In the name of what? What are you fighting for? Even if you want a secession of the Southeast, there are ways of doing it without bringing to harm the same people you say you are liberating. Now, if you kill all the people, who are you going to rule or govern if and when you are envisaged republic? It doesn't make sense, and it is also not a surprise. And that will tell you the extent that Simon Ekpa went, that the mainstream IPOB denied him.
Nnamdi Kanu disassociated himself.
That is, denied him completely and said he was not even their member, and they did not approve of his antics and all that. So it is good he has been convicted. I hope and pray that that brings a level of sanity in the Southeast. But that said, it also tells you when countries are serious about fighting terrorism, 10 months, they have a convention. In Nigeria, we are rather bribing terrorists, bribing bandits, giving them money, negotiating with them. They say it is kinetic. Does it make sense?
Yeah,
when people go out there to kill and maim,
criminality.
You are rewarding the criminality, whereas their victims are there languishing in IDP camps. It doesn't make sense.
All right, let's hold. We'll come back to pick up from where we stopped. We have Mohammed calling from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Mohammed. Thanks for calling. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mohammed. Go ahead and
Good morning. To us, Thanks for calling.
Yes, my name is Hassan Mohammed Ndawaji. I'm calling from Qatar.
All right. Thank you very much for calling.
Well, I think the sentence of Simon Ekpa by the Finnish government is a welcome development to serve as a deterrent to all those that they want to foment trouble in a sovereign country like Nigeria. But I think outside the sentence, we should also deal with the root cause of these people that are being marginalized for one reason or the other, even though in politics or governance, you don't sit down and wait to get what you want. You have to go to the center and negotiate, which I think what is lagging behind from the side of the divide that I agree. Now, the issue of extradition. We want to bring in people into our prisons when already the people living in the country are also living in an open prison. Then when you go behind the walls, and see those that are languishing in incarceration, they are walloping in hunger, starvation, and in cases of sickness and so on and so forth. So I think the government should go beyond that, because if it were in Nigeria, these people will keep going on to trial upon trial. Nnamdi Kanu has been undergoing trial for over how many years without any conclusion. So I think our justice delivery system should do the needful. You can't keep person for 5-6 years undergoing trial, and at the end of the day, if that person is found innocent, how do you compensate the person? But if the person is found guilty to serve 2 years, he has undergone 5, 6, 7 years on trial. So I think our justice delivery system is very poor and weak. The government should do the needful. Thank you very much, and God bless.
I think Alhaji Mohammed has summed up a number of the things that I wanted to bring up. He's talked about the grievances that a certain section of people in Nigeria feel and how that should be addressed. And then he's also made reference to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whose case, I mean, you can compare how both cases were handled.
And
one handled in Finland, another one were still, it feels like, you know, they're moving in circles over and over again. However, this one, from start to completion, 10 months, the matter has been concluded. So I think that, you know, that's something to take from there. Do you have any final thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, well, I think Mohammed was not spot on anything, everything that he said. Of course, justice delayed, as they say, is justice denied. You can't keep Nnamdi Kanu there for 10 months for whatever it is worth. And of course, that also shows you the decay in the Nigerian judiciary. And again, like he said, why people are happy with the conviction of Simon Ekpa is not necessarily because of the cause, in quotes, that he claimed to be fighting, but what he was doing. Look, the marginalization of the Southeast is real. Anybody, since after the Civil War in 1970, they have done everything to keep that zone down. Of course, that was what led to the agitation by Nnamdi Kanu and others, and why that agitation resonated loudly. Late President Muhammad Buhari never did anything in 8 years to assuage the feelings of marginalization. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in the over 2 years he's been in office, has rather deepened that marginalization rather than solving it.
How has it deepened it?
In every way material. Look at the appointments.
Lopsided appointment
that he has made. Southeast is the only place. Ogun State alone has 4 ministers. 3 are substantial, hold offices in substantive manner. Southeast has 5 ministers, and that is because the Constitution says that at least each state must have a minister.
All right.
And only two of them are substantive ministers. That of Nnaji, the Minister of Technology, and that of Works, Dave Umahi. The other 3 are ministers of state, which, don't forget, Festus Keyamo told us in 2023 is an illegal contraption, because that it does not exist in the laws of Nigeria, that ministers of state are simply non-entities.
Okay, so let's put a pause there. We have Uche calling from Abia. Good morning, Uche. Please go ahead with your thoughts. Thanks for calling.
Everybody. I'm from Southeast. Many of us are happy, precisely Abia State or Hafia.
local government. We are happy that Simon Ekpa has been convicted, though we may not, predict the outcome when he appeals. But the issue of Ekpa is quite different from Nnamdi Kanu. There are two different issues. Federal government is now happy. We are asking federal government, those individuals, they have their names already. From the last administration that had, is it the Dubai government or whatever government that gave our government that are sponsoring terrorism? What are they doing with the names? Lai Mohammed promised Nigerians that they are going to do what? Publish their names. Even the former Attorney General, Malami, also seconded. This is more than 4 years, or close to 5 years. We have not seen them. What is holding them? We are clapping. Under 10 months, they have convicted this man. Why is it that more than 5 years or 4 years, they have not even shown us the names? Is those people their relations? That is the question will be asked. Whether they are relation of the federal government or APC government, let me just use that word. We want to know them. We want to see them in court. Terrorism, Nigerians have been suffering and we've been wasting funds on insecurity. Let us see them. Let us know them. If there are these enterprises we are hearing, oh, this and that, they have money, they are doing that, may we know them so that we will put them to shame. And also justice will do what? Follow them. God bless you people.
Thank you. God bless you too.
Again, I said that earlier. Look, we can't be rejoicing over the fate that has befallen Simon Ekpa in Finland when here we are paying criminals. We are negotiating with them. Those in Kaduna say they are negotiating with them. Those in Katsina are negotiating with bandits. You reward criminality in Nigeria when you are celebrating the conviction of Simon Ekpa in Finland. It is hypocrisy. And that is why Nigeria is where it is. There must be a law that governs everybody. But here there are always two laws. One for those that have contacts, whether in government, whether in the ruling party, or whether you come from the right ethnic group. And there are laws for people who don't belong to these categories. No country, I repeat, no country makes progress when the law is a respecter of whims and caprices of those in authority. It doesn't all go well.
I also want to mention something he highlighted, very important point. In the last administration, the government of the United Arab Emirates did give the federal government names of terrorism financiers. And like he said, the then Attorney General and the Minister of Information, Attorney General Abubakar Malami and Alhaji Lai Mohammed, promised to make it public. I mean, we're talking of matters of national security here. Why do you think the federal government hasn't published those names? And does the current APC government have a responsibility to at least tell us what's going on with those known sponsors of terrorism?
The double standards we've been talking about. The political will to do what is right is lacking. Absolutely lacking. And it will continue. Look, you're talking about the names that were sent to us from United Arab Emirates. I think it was here some time ago that I said, the people that were killed in Yelwata, who is standing trial for killing them? Or were they killed by spirits? The people that were killed in a Plateau State for more than 1 year ago, who is standing trial? How many terrorists are standing trial and have been convicted? This is the only country where people will kill, maim, and all we hear one day, they have repented.
Yeah, radicalized.
They are repentant, and they are being de-radicalized. You push them back to the society, and the violence is not...
The cycle continues.
...stopping. It is instead growing in leaps and bounds. And look, Olive, we have so much to fix in this country. My worry is that everything has been reduced to politics. Of course, you saw what El-Rufai said on Sunday. He pointedly accused this government of bribing terrorists. But of course, it is the same thing he himself admitted that he did when he said that he had to go to even Niger Republic to go and pay those who were killing people in Kaduna, and he told them, now a Fulani man is in power, a Fulani man like you is in power, and therefore there's no need to continue killing.
Let's even talk about that a little bit. We'll go to the next paper. Of course, El-Rufai has pushed back. The government has said that El-Rufai's claim is baseless. Let's look at the Vanguard newspaper. On the front page of the Vanguard, we can see here the big story, Jonathan Tukeyamo Odinkalu, keep off my political journey. Nigerians in South Africa mobilized for Super Eagles against Bafana. Power-hungry politicians seeking to remove Tinubu. Rivers local government poll, Obi Labour Party condemn election. Botched agreement, residents, doctors threaten nationwide strike. Childhood cancer, 400,000 children diagnosed annually according to World Health Organization. Terrorism, federal government, CDS, others hail Ekpa's conviction in Finland. And empowerment of bandits, federal government tackles El-Rufai, says claim is baseless. And Nasir El-Rufai yesterday has reported statements from the Office of the National Security Advisor. He has maintained that his previous accusation is correct. So let's speak about that briefly, and then I want us to talk a bit more politics about Jonathan Keyamo, Peter Obi, and Odinkalu.
The truth of the matter is that criminals in the north are being rewarded. They are not being punished. They are being rewarded. In any case, every day the military comes out to tell you 100 terrorists have been neutralized, 200 terrorists have been neutralized. Who are they? How were they neutralized? In any case, the non-terrorist leaders, Bello Tuji and all that, are there, roaming the streets, maiming and killing. And we are negotiating with them. And you are claiming that so number of terrorists have been neutralized. Where? How? Do we have any evidence to show that these people have actually been neutralized?
I mean, in fairness to the Nigerian army, on their various social media pages, they do blur the pictures because of social media rules. Sometimes they post pictures of terrorists that have been neutralized, their motorbikes.
Don't these terrorists have names? It would be better, rather than showing us, teach us that you've blood so that it will not violate media rules. Why don't you tell us the names of these people?
Maybe they don't know.
Are they not Nigerians? Why don't you tell us? And why is it impossible to get the Bello Tujis of this world? In any case, look, what El-Rufai is saying, we've seen it several times. The government officials going to negotiate with known terrorist leaders. Look, we need to be sincere in the way we are fighting.
The end justifies the means, because in southern Kaduna now, there's been no attacks. The people are living peacefully. So I think the ordinary people there would say, look, we don't care how you do it, as long as they're not coming to attack us.
Okay, you're talking about southern Kaduna. Okay, we may say that the attacks in southern Kaduna have reduced. But what about Nigeria? Have the killings in Benue State stopped? Have the killings in the Plateau State
so the non-kinetic
approach
is not working.
How can it work?
Okay, let's move to politics because we're almost out of time. Jonathan Keyamo, Odinkalu, Peter Obi, what are your thoughts?
Well, so they should keep their advice and keep his political journey out of their mouth.
Yes, that was what Jonathan said yesterday. And I quite agree with him. What is Nakeyamo's business?
It's what I'm thinking.
What is Nakeyamo's business, whether Jonathan wants to run or not? The mere fact that Keyamo is the person who is more or less pleading with Jonathan, please don't contest because they will disqualify you. If Keyamo knows for real that Jonathan will be disqualified, they will egg him on.
Of course.
So that the PDP will be will lose its chance at the polls.
They will egg him on. So the fact that he is the person who is advising shows that there is something they know. All they want to do is to dissuade Jonathan from running. Of course, there is a court verdict that Jonathan got in 2022 from a court in Yenegoa, which said that the so-called amendment of the Constitution that says if you've been sworn in 2 times cannot be applied retroactively, and therefore it does not apply to Jonathan. That court verdict has not been appealed, has not been upturned as we speak. And like Jonathan also said, Jonathan said he also has access to as many senior advocates of Nigeria. You know, the law is an ass. So, as he is also getting advice, legal counsel from people who are telling him, you can run. He has not said he's going to run. He has not declared interest openly. But those who know have told me that Jonathan is interested and he wants to run. And
his wife doesn't want it. His first wife.
Well, if the first wife does not want him to go back to Asorok, perhaps he may stay back in Yenego. And the second wife,
who has never been to Asorok,
that will go with him at this time. But that aside, you know, this permutation, and that is why I think the government is jittery. The North that is behind this push for Jonathan see him as their best bet. They don't seem to trust Peter Obi or Rotimi Amaechi when they say they will do 1 term. Their thinking is that there are a lot of things behind.
They could still change their mind, and it will still be constitutionally legal for them to run for a second term.
Yes, but now Jonathan is the only person whose 1 term is guaranteed. So if they could get him back, it will solve 2 purposes. It will serve the purpose of the rotation of power between the North and the South. So power will still remain in the South, and by so doing, they have also got rid of their common nemesis, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then they will have somebody whose 1 term will not be subject to any.
But how do you deal with the Atiku conundrum? Because, I mean, he's a northern political juggernaut, and he would also be contesting the election. So how do you expect him to win northern votes from him?
Again, Atiku has not told anybody, just like Jonathan, that he's going to run for 2023. All these things are in the realm of
I think Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has come out expressly to say he's interested in seeking the highest office under the ADC.
I've not heard him say that. But then, even if he has not said that, there are many Northerners who still believe that power should remain in the South, at least for the gentleman agreement of power shift every 8 years. If Atiku insists that he's going to run, it may sway many people in the South to also vote in solidarity against somebody from the North. But, you know, 2023, 2027 will be interesting. But like I've always argued, Boyenga, It's not, all these calculations that we are making are not the calculations politicians are making, particularly the ruling party.
What sort of calculations are they making?
The sort of calculations they are making is that they are not going to depend on the vote that you and I cast to remain in power. All their calculations. And that is why when people like Wike come out, they are very categorical. They are sure that Tinubu's second term is a done deal. How can a man who has inflicted so much suffering, a man who has inflicted so much pain on Nigerians in 2 years, talk about his second term being guaranteed? How?
I mean, some of the reasons is that they feel these reforms will take place and we've gone through the worst and we've swallowed the bitter pill. So it's a necessary sacrifice we have to make that maybe from 2026 and towards the end of this year, Nigerians, they point to things like the record oil production. They also talk about the increase in the foreign reserve. Yes.
And you believe them?
I want us to quickly touch on this in 1 minute if possible, because we've almost come to the end of the show. It's the resident doctors. Resident doctors threaten nationwide strike. I think that it's important. There's a page on X, Nigerian doctor, that is pushing, and I've been seeing a number of people reporting this story as well. If you're watching, we're hoping that we can get confirmation about a certain Dr. Femi Rotifa, who was alleged to have passed in River State University Teaching Hospital after working 72 hours straight with, with no break, and that he was unwell. So we're hoping that we can get further confirmation on that story. But regardless of that, and I'm hoping that this isn't true, right? I'm really hoping, although I'm seeing a number of handles on social media reporting this, but our resident doctors are working in dire circumstances. What priority have we given to Nigeria's healthcare?
Nothing. Nothing. And it's not going to get better. That's why I smile when people say what Benga has just said. Perhaps it will get better. How is it going to get better? The president is still, as long as our leaders enjoy their medical vacation, their medical tourism abroad, as long as they continue to treat Qatar abroad, they can't fix the health sector here.
There's a disconnect.
There is a fundamental disconnect. Look, if you want to fix the health sector, you will lead by example. Nelson Mandela was treated in South Africa. He died in South Africa. The health of a president is a national security issue. You can't entrust the health. The British were the people who knew what was wrong with Buhari until he died. Nigerians, they didn't know. The French people now are the people who know what the issues are with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nigerians don't know.
So it's a matter of sovereignty.
So where lies your sovereignty? How can you entrust the health of your president in the hands of foreigners who, if they decide to, can play funny? Can you ever think of a President Donald Trump going outside the U.S.
to Mexico or Canada
for treatment,
or Emmanuel Macron of France?
Right.
So the health issue is not being tackled. No attention is being paid there, and of course the doctors continue to leave.
And I think that this is a conversation we probably should expand further tomorrow on the show and get the doctors to actually join us. Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, thank you very much for joining us. It's a sad way to end, but we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
And when the doctors come, they should check on Joe.
Johansson. You were going to say that.